Hello guys, this is Trinity Storm here and welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to do second part of what if Naruto was the savior of the Holy Grail. If you enjoy this video, please like, share and subscribe to my channel. Now wasting no more time, let's start the story.
Meanwhile, one of Naruto's clones is watching Lancer. Using another clone, Naruto jumps through the building in astral form while also donning presence concealment. This clone's mission is to search the Homihara Academy area for any other potentially dangerous areas. Unlike his previous abilities, Naruto has limited power in this world. Originally, he could easily create thousands of clones, but here, he can only create 50, much to his chagrin. Though they all have all of his skills, their strength is only C. His endurance is only an E. And his mana has dropped to B+. And for some strange reason, their fortune is A. How could a clone be luckier than the original? That's ridiculous. Is this why he never wins a card game against his clone? Fuck that nonsense. However, thanks to his personal skills such as bravery, instinct, prana burst, and others, Naruto clone does not face many difficulties. He was also only able to enter Kyuubi mode for 20 minutes and had only 2 clones who could use it, unlike when he was in his prime, when the majority of his clones could use Kyuubi mode, though Sage mode was still available for them, much to his relief. His Hiraishin Kunai, Flying Thunder God, is also limited to 30. He has already scattered 11 of them throughout the city, giving one to Monaka just in case, and bringing the rest to battle. That limiter. If I were in my prime, this war would be child's play. In his mind, the Naruto clone grumbled. Though he admits that if he overpowers it, it will become bored as well, but hey. He wants to show off his strength. While jumping through the house, Naruto came to a halt when he noticed a servant nearby. He twists his leg and grips the ground before changing direction and leaping to the servant area. This aura is different from the ones I sensed from Lancer, Assassin, and Archer. Which is it, Rider or Caster? He was thinking as he silently jumped away from the building. He then came to a halt and landed on one of the roofs of a building. When he discovered the source, he looked down and saw a woman with long purple hair wearing a black tight outfit put someone down. She's sucking the soul of that man. So she requires mana, eh? She's not Caster, so what does her outfit mean? Rider? This will be interesting. Naruto thought as he observed her before grinning. He jumped down and materialized himself, startling the woman as she turned around to see him. I didn't notice him. Assassin? But I met one already in Ryudo Temple. How does another servant have presence concealment? She was surprised, but she remained stoic outside. Have we had a nice night? Naruto greeted, still wearing his emperor hat, and looked at Rider from beneath his hat. Rider did not respond to Naruto, instead summoning a dagger and chain. Naruto can see her muscle and tendon preparing to fight. He can see it now. Rider has long flowing lavender hair, a mask over her eyes, a leather black bodysuit that exposes the top of her chest and part of her breast, and knee-length boots that expose the majority of her thighs. A cursed pair of eyes? Man, why do so many of my adversaries have special eyes? I'm done with Neji, Sasuke Teme, Itachi, Nagato, Obito, Madara, and Kagaya. Naruto muttered an internal groan. You are the one who is to blame for the barrier in school. Naruto stated matter-of-factly. Rider locked her gaze on Naruto for a brief moment before nodding, I am. She admitted monotonously. This war is supposed to be kept secret. Why don't you remove that impediment? Naruto inquired politely. Can't do it. I require prana because my master cannot provide me with a good one. Naruto sighed as Rider denied in monotone. So, here's my chance. So, shall we begin to dance? Naruto inquired once more, pulling out 2 kunai and imitating Rider's stance. Ryder raises her dagger and locks her gaze on Naruto for a brief moment. Naruto vanished from her sight, and she twisted her body to block an attack from Naruto, who reappeared behind her. Naruto lowers his body before slashing Ryder, but the Gorgon blocks it again before she counters with her own attack. Naruto parries it, then steps forward and delivers a horizon slash, while Ryder pulls back her body and dodges it before leaping away. She cocked her arm back and tossed the dagger along with the chain. When Naruto saw this, he sidestepped and dodged the projectile before jumping, and to Ryder's surprise, he latched his feet to the chain with chakra and dashed to her. What? How did he do it? Ryder immediately pulls her chain and twists it, causing Naruto to fall from her chain. To her dismay, Naruto effortlessly follows the chain before leaping to her and delivering a heel kick. Ryder was forced to block the kick, but it was stronger than she anticipated, and she was blown away, landing on the ground. Naruto landed on the ground and continued to perform hand seals while saying, "Efton, Daitopa. Wind release. Great breakthrough." Naruto summons a gale of wind and directs it at Ryder, who has just fallen to the ground. Ryder, who is just standing, has her eyes widened under its cover before using her speed and jumping away to avoid the torrent of wind. When she is in the air, Naruto appears in front of her and delivers an axe kick. Fast. Ryder thought as she immediately raised her two hands to block it, but Naruto's strength caused her bones to crack. She was sent down from another Naruto kick, but this time she managed to balance herself in the air and land with a slight pant. He walks in my chain without being bothered by the flow. How did he do that? Is he capable of walking through a wall or something similar? And that speed. He's quick. Ryder raised her dagger again with caution. What class do you belong to? How unladylike of you. It was common rule to introduce yourself first before asking someone a question, Naruto remarked under his hat. Naruto pointed with a mocking tone. Ryder glared at Naruto through her eye cover before finally saying, "I'm Ryder." She makes an introduction. My name is Assassin. Naruto responded in the same way. You tell the truth. I already met Assassin, he summoned by Caster in Ryudo Temple, Ryder said, her tone slightly irritated. Well. Naruto took a breather. So she's already met the true assassin, eh? Even though the one in the castle is a forgery, Assassin, as far as he knows, should be this Hassan Isaba guy. I am the truth about the assassin. He stated with pride. There is no assassin dressed in orange. Ryder said in a deadpan tone. If I can hide myself in orange, imagine what I can do in black. Naruto retorted, and you, too, have no right to complain about your own attire. If you ride, where is your mount? Do you ride your own leg? He inquired in the same deadpan tone. Ryder's eye twitched beneath her mask. This one began to irritate her. I didn't need one, I'm already fast enough. She said this before blurring like a bullet and launching herself at Naruto. Naruto barely missed her slash and ducked before pushing the ground with his hand and landing a few feet away from Ryder. Not bad, but I can't compete with her because I only clone. I need to force chakra to my leg so I can keep track of her. Naruto thought before blurring. Clang, clang, clang. Clang, clang. Gaakin. Naruto and Ryder engaged in a race. While Ryder has superior speed, Naruto has superior skill and his instinct plus bravery increase his stat. He may be a clone, but since Rider has been weakened, Naruto can hold his ground like fighting Lancer. They clashed again in the middle of the air with dagger and kunai before bending their bodies and each delivering a multitude of strikes. The kunai and dagger parrying and blocking each other's attacks, then they move their leg and mix it with their attack. After a brief clash in the air, they both fell to the ground, crouching in four limbs and holding their weapons. Rider has a calm expression, whereas Naruto has a grin hidden beneath his hat. "You're great. While you are slower than me, you managed to parry and block all of my attacks. Isn't it instinct?" Rider stated, and Naruto laughed. "You have the right to say." Naruto agreed before giving Rider a sly grin. "And the black lace? You have a thing for black, don't you?" He said it in a slightly perverted tone. Rider blinked under her eye mask before a tick mark appeared on her forehead when she realized what he meant. "You'll pay for it." Naruto only laughed as she snarled. "Don't be like that, Rider-chan. You have excellent posture. Oh, if we could just share a drink and talk instead of dancing with weapons." Naruto sighed and lamented, so now there are two servants who have their master's asshole. "So, who is yours?" Unlike Lancer, who was not allowed to go all out, you require prana to go all out, which means your master stinks. "Someone who has failed as a magus?" he questioned. "You have the right to say." Rider admitted without remorse, though her tone was dismissive. Interesting. I've already gathered enough information. Rider-chan, we'll meet again later." Naruto said this before poofing into smoke. Rider was perplexed by the smoke that appeared from Naruto's body. She can't feel her anymore, which means he's completely vanished. What exactly is it? Is it a clone? Is it true that only assassin possesses that ability? Is he the true assassin? This one clearly resembles assassin more than the one in Castor's place. This man could be correct. But does this mean that one class will be cancelled? Or do we now have an extra class? This war. It's clearly strange. Rider pondered, perplexed. Naruto and Monaka are present, near Fuyuki Church. We discovered our blonde emperor sitting in one of the buildings with his master. After Lancer flees Saber and uses his noble phantasm, much to Naruto's delight as he finally sees one, Saber attacks Archer and manages to corner Tasaka Rin. Naruto also discovers, much to his surprise, that the red-haired magus is Emiya Shuru. Naruto already knew Kuritsugu only had one daughter, Iliaspal Bainsburn or something like that, because he saw what Grail showed to Kuritsugu from Justice. As a result, seeing Shuru confused him. Are they getting close? Monaka inquired. Nope, Monaka-chan, I don't sense anything. Naruto responded while looking around. Both Naruto and Monaka are currently waiting for Saber, Rin, and Shuru to walk through this district and register as master at the church. Monaka herself has yet to register. The reason for this is that when Naruto investigates the church, the dark energy and aura that it emits is identical to that of Fuyuki Central Park. Aura of Angra Mainyu. That alone should make Naruto wary of this church. Aside from that, Naruto wants to be cautious and be the last to register because as an extra class, it is preferable if they arrive last. Since they were the last to arrive, no one will register or inquire about them. Monaka did not even object or obey him. Naruto knows Monaka only cares about killing people and Naruto, but he also knows she trusts him in strategy and everything when they are fighting, much to Naruto's delight. She will follow Naruto as long as she spends time with him and he shows her interesting things. Monaka, on the other hand, stated that after Shuru and Rin leave the church, she intends to attack one of them. She stated that she wishes to see Naruto in action. Naruto had no objections to this. He would also like to see Saber fight. In terms of his clone, Saviour is clearly stronger than Lancer, who is holding back. She is both skilled and dangerous. He's already done his research when he sees Saviour. Because he didn't know much, he began searching the internet for Lancer, who has Gai Bolg as a noble phantasm, and he also discovered Lancer's true identity. But this lady. He has already searched for it, but the only internet show and famous female knight is Joan of Arc. Maid of Orleans, a formidable opponent. Oh, and by the way, I still didn't know what your Grail wish was. Naruto inquired, curious about the type of person Monaka wished to be. Monaka turned to face him and blinked once before tapping her chin and making a thoughtful face. Actually, I want to see Root. It was every Magus's dream. While it is true that that dream is shared by all Magus, I did not seek the wish. I'm only interested in seeing what shape Root takes and how it works. Monaka spoke up, and Naruto hummed, and hum. I see. Magus usually wishes to contact Root or Akasha. Though why they want to see something like Root is beyond my comprehension. According to Naruto, Root is the source of all events and phenomena in the universe. At least in this universe, and no doubt it also has knowledge of the world beyond this one. That is how Justice was able to contact him. The question is, why would Magus want to find something like this? Isn't it boring if you already know what's going to happen or something? Magus, on the other hand, desires knowledge. My father wishes to obtain knowledge from various worlds and universes so that he can see all knowledge about magic in the world. Monaka explained before shrugging. That is not something I am interested in. I just want to see what it looks like and how the Grail grants someone a wish. Knowing the future, the past, and everything will be boring and dull for me. She stated as she returned her gaze to the frown while waving her that rested in the air. That is something I agree with you on. There will be no adventure if you already know the basics. It will be entertaining at first, but then it will become tedious. Naruto agreed with a nod and a warm smile to Monaka. You've met Haim, right? While you are twisted, you are entertaining to talk to, and I enjoy spending time with you. As he stated. Monaka's face flushed pink, and she lowered her eyes slightly in a shy manner, resisting the urge to squeal. Receiving praise from her emperor and being referred to as Haim made her heart skip a beat. Naruto laughs at Monaka's shy demeanor. Despite her twisted nature, she is still a little girl, which is why she can be saved. She is willing to change but is not yet completely polished into a complete psychopath, much like Obito, who secretly wishes to become Hokage. They're right here. Naruto murmured as his gaze was drawn to Shuru, Rin, and... When Naruto saw Saber, he blinked. Saber seems to have a strange sense of outfit, wearing raincoat like that, Monaka, who was listening, said as she turned her face and gazed at them. Naruto's sweat dropped in response to her remark. Yes, she is. I'm not sure why she's wearing that. So, when do we strike Monaka-chan? Said Naruto. When they leave the church. Monaka informed him before letting out a small squeal. I can't believe I'm going to see you fight. Finally. I'm excited to see you fight. She exclaimed joyfully. Ma. Monaka-chan, please be patient. Naruto smiled beneath his emperor hat. It will be soon. They're already entering the church. He pointed as he noticed Saber standing outside, guarding. Monaka let out a dreamy sigh and smiled innocently as if she was enjoying the situation. Wake me up if they done, my emperor. She said as she leaned on Naruto's shoulder. She closed her eyes and murmured. Naruto, who was staring at Monaka, sighed. His master was so clingy that he grabbed Monaka and corrected her sleeping posture so she wouldn't have sore muscles when she woke up later. What an odd master I have. Naruto chuckled at himself. After a while, Shuru walked down from Shinto's church in a daze, going over what he had learned, his mood gloomy at the enormity of it all. Rin had first explained what the mark on his hand meant, as well as the type of insanely powerful entity Saviour was. He was then dragged all the way to the far end of Shinto to meet the mediator, Kirei Kotomine, and formally register him as a master. While Shuru did get the big questions answered and learned a lot, the whole thing nearly made the redhead vomit. While getting away from that priest and seeing Saviour had relieved the pain in his shoulders, he was still shaken to the core. He'd been chosen for an insane game, in which he was essentially given a legendary hero as a weapon to fight and kill 6 other magi and or their heroic servants over a wish-granting Holy Grail. Worse, the moment the priest dropped the bomb, there was no turning back. The fire that robbed him of his birth family and brought a vision of hell to his young eyes was the result of the previous war, when someone unworthy touched the Grail. What kind of hero flees when innocent lives are at stake? No, he had to fight to keep another tragedy from happening. The Fifth Holy Grail War was officially launched with his agreement. No. 7, not 6. According to the priest, there was an extra servant summoned. Tasaka also appears unaware and surprised. She demanded an explanation from Kirei, and the priest obliged. While something like this has never happened before in the Grail Wars, the priest has no idea why it happened. He is the only supervisor. His sole responsibility is to keep magic's secrecy intact and to keep the war from spreading beyond Fuyuki City's borders. If the Grail wishes to summon additional servant, he is limited in his abilities. Killing 6 people is bad enough, but now there's an extra one. Still, the worst part was how the priest's parting words lingered in his mind incessantly. There must be an absolute evil for you to stop in order to become a hero of justice. Ironic. To wish to save someone is to wish for a villain to put someone in danger in the first place. Best wishes, Emiya. Shuru wishes he could deny the priest's proclamation, but he can't. Because it is true, a hero is someone who saves others, which implies a crisis, and a hero of justice must have an enemy, a villain, to whom justice must be meted out. There will be no hero if there are no enemies. Has my ego guided my dream for so long? Did I really believe I could be a hero of justice like Tusan without an opponent to defeat? Shuru sighed bitterly. As he approached the streets on the outskirts of Shinto's suburban stretch, his movements were stiff and mindless. Rin had remained silent the entire journey, leaving him to ruminate. Circumstance and her words back at his house had made it abundantly clear that they would be enemies once they parted ways. She must be concerned about the extra servants, no doubt. To distract himself from his depressing thoughts, he struck up a conversation with Tasaka. Is your servant all right? Huh? Oh, Archer is fine. He escaped the brunt of Saber's attack at the last second, so he should be back to normal in a day. Rin responded. Shuru noticed the hazy patch beside Rin and followed her even out here. Because Archer was astralized, he would be completely invisible, and there was no way he could see him. I feel relieved. Even if we have to be enemies, knowing you'll be able to defend yourself with his help makes me feel better. In a relieved tone, he said. Rin gave him a puzzled expression. She couldn't blame him for being concerned, given that his entire world had been blown to bits in the previous 3 hours or so. He simply couldn't think of her as an adversary at the drop of a hat. There is also an extra master in this war. Only 7 megas should be used to play the Holy Grail. Why is there now an 8-1? She really needs to think about this. Archer is currently wounded as a result of Saber's actions, and in her current state, she is clearly a target. Especially if there is an assassin nearby. The rest of the walk was spent with little conversation, and the trio crossed the bridge into Miyama quietly, likely enjoying their last night of peace before fighting for their lives. They're all thinking about what happened today. They eventually arrived at the intersection that led to their respective districts. This is where we part ways. I've paid my debt, and we'll be enemies starting tomorrow. If I continue to assist you, I'll become too attached, so good night, Emiya-kun. Shuru responded with a slight smile. while she was a far cry from the girl he had come to admire at school, revealing an unapproachable, short-tempered, snide, and sarcastic young lady, Rin was still a fundamentally good person underneath it all. Despite the fact that she took a huge risk and nearly lost her servant, she took the time to explain everything to him, ensuring he fully understood his options. That was more than just repaying a debt. It was genuine, fair support for someone who was out of his element. "Thank you very much, Tasaka. You are a wonderful person. I know it's a stupid thing to say, but I'd rather not be enemies with you. I enjoy meeting people like you." Rin was speechless for the first time since Saviour had let her stand. Obviously, she didn't expect such a heartfelt thank you after all of the revelations. Shuru was too gentle and kind to be involved in this kind of madness, but here he was, thanking her as if she had treated him to dinner. Rin blushed slightly before brushing one of her pigtails behind her shoulder and averting her gaze. "If your servant is killed, just run to the church. At the very least, you will survive." Shuru nodded, despite the fact that he knew if Saviour died, he'd be right there behind her, making the point moot. Rin turned to head up towards the Western-style buildings, the opposite direction of Shuru's Japanese estate, after exchanging awkward goodbyes. She didn't make it more than 10 feet before collapsing. Shuru, too, she realizes. "Tasaka?" Shuru called out to her as he followed her gaze, a short, burning pain coursing through his left hand. Mist and fog appear out of nowhere. Shuru hears quiet giggling and small footsteps on the road and path, and then he sees her, the small girl in violet clothes. But that wasn't what drew his attention. The giant was standing behind the little girl. And the aura he emitted reeks of death, making Shuru fearful. "Shuru." Saviour immediately leapt to her master's side. She can tell there will be a battle, and the enemy is clearly formidable. Before speaking, the little girl smiles at them. "Hello, Oni-chan. This is the second time we meet," the girl said. Shuru, upon hearing this, remembered that he had previously met this girl. He issues her a strange warning. Meanwhile, Rin at her side gulped when she saw Berserker's massive form. She analyzes the situation for a brief moment before determining the outcome. "This is terrible," Rin hissed at him. "That thing is completely out of our league." "Nice to meet you, Rin," Ilya said. "I'm Ilya, Ilyasville von Einsborn. You are aware of who I am, correct?" Rin, who was standing behind Shuru, let out a small gasp, and he imagined her jerking as if slapped. "Do you know her, Rin?" Shuru inquired as he turned to face her. The Einsborns are a family of magi who have long desired the acquisition of the Holy Grail, and they have always sent an Einsborn to each Grail war. "So she's a master as well?" Shuru is perplexed, seeing a child like this girl as master. "That's correct, Oni-chan. But getting the Grail isn't the only thing I'm excited about. I'm also here to murder you. I've been looking forward to this day for a long time, Oni-chan, so I'll make sure to kill you as gently as possible." Ilya's fingers snap. "Berserker, come." Then everything went to hell. Along with Naruto and Manaka. They both watched as Berserker launched his assault. Their original plan was to strike when Shuru and Rin separated. Manaka was uninterested in Rin's servant because she was hurt, and there was no point in killing her now. She wants to see Naruto fight, but if Rin is killed now, she won't be able to see Naruto fight Archer. However, much to their surprise, there is someone who is waiting for Shuru and Rin. Instead of jumping, they decide to observe the situation for the time being. Naruto blinks at the ill-apple or something similar. If he recalls Kiritsugu's abandoned daughter, she is clearly quite short. She should be the same age as Manaka, but Manaka is only a few inches taller than she is. This is obviously unexpected. Manaka mumbled. "Indeed. Master, what do you want me to do?" Naruto inquired. "Are you sure you can beat them?" Manaka responded simply. Naruto remained silent before turning to face the colossal berserker. He closes his eyes briefly before an orange mark appears above his eyelid, which Monaka cannot see due to his Emperor hat. He uses Sage Mode to calculate Berserker power at the moment. Without a doubt, he can defeat Berserker in Sage Mode. Then he changed it to Saber and Archer in the vicinity of Shuru and Rin. If Saber assists Berserker and Archer assists him, he may be defeated if he is not careful. Unless, of course, he uses Kyuubi mode. But he doubts Archer can do anything at this point. And in Sage mode, with Clone and a few jutsu, he can easily defeat Saber and Berserker. With that in mind, he turned off Sage mode and smiled, "Sure I can. I've fought stronger foes in my life," he stated confidently. And then, "My Emperor." Monaka spoke in a dreamy tone. Naruto rises slowly before summoning a single clone to protect Monaka. He gave Monaka a brief smile before enchanting chakra to his leg and kicking the building, then soaring to Berserker and Saber, who were fighting. Berserker and Saber, who were in the midst of a fierce battle, suddenly screamed. They immediately separated from one another. Boom. Every master watching is taken aback when they see a projectile launched at one of their servants, separating the two fighters and bringing the fight to a halt. In the battlefield, Saber and Berserker grip their weapons. Both of them can sense the presence of someone from the smoke that has appeared, implying that someone has interrupted their battle. Era. Fighting like that in here. Ladies and gentlemen, do you mind if I join in? Naruto inquired as he stood with one hand on his hat. Everyone was clearly taken aback when Naruto appeared. They never expected someone to interrupt the fight between Saber and Berserker in such a way. Who is crazy enough to fight two servants at the same time? Who exactly is he? Rin muttered in surprise. My Imperial Majesty. Every master who was watching from a distance turned to a new voice source. It was soft and gentle, almost like Ilya, but a little more mature. They see Monaka with a Naruto clone who uses Kageyatsuri no Jutsu, shadow manipulation technique, to hide himself under Monaka's shadow and covers himself with presence concealment to protect her. Shuru Emiya, Rin Tasaka, and Ilyasville von Einsburn, hello. My name is Monaka Saviour, and I'm delighted to meet you. Monaka introduces herself by bowing and lifting her skirt, as Ilya did previously. Who is Monaka Saviour? The current heiress of the Saviour family and the one who improved the formal craft. Rin exclaimed, surprised. She said it almost shrilly. Of course she recognized Monaka. Monaka is well known because of her reputation, and while the Magus Association is not particularly concerned with formal craft, Monaka has demonstrated promising talent in her family's art. Yes. I'm flattered you're aware of my existence, Rin Tasaka. Monaka smiled innocently. Ilya, who sees Monaka, looks at her with sharp eyes. Of course, she is aware of Monaka's reputation, which, while not stellar, is one of the few. This woman may pose a greater challenge than Rin. And her servant. He is unique. As a Grail vessel, she recognizes that this servant is one of a kind. That implies. This is the additional class. She was surprised when she felt the Grail summon an extra servant for participation. She had no idea what class it was until she visited the church and discovered it was a Saviour. A Messiah class or something along those lines. A new enigmatic class. But it doesn't matter because Berserker is unbeatable. No one can stand a chance against her Berserker. HMPH. So, I'm assuming your servant? Ilya inquired, and Monaka turned to face her. Era, I see you're one of those now, aren't you? Monaka replied, ignoring Ilya's question, causing the white-haired girl's eyes to twitch. Monaka's status as a homunculus is without a doubt what she means. As master, they will create a good weapon, as expected from the Einsburn family. She chuckles slightly. Yes, he is mine, that man over there. He is my empress. Emperor? Is that one of the servant class? Shuru inquired. No way, you moron. Shuru winced when Rin hit him in the head. Didn't you already hear an explanation? There are only 7 additional classes, Saviour. She reprimanded herself before turning to face Manaka. Does your servant save? She inquired, her eyes narrowed. Maybe. Manaka stated cryptically. Naruto never forbids her from telling the truth. He just enjoys confusing people and trolling them, and he doesn't mind if they find out. He is a Saviour class servant, yes. She admitted after a brief pause. Saviour class. The mysterious servant. Rin murmured something. This is clearly surprising, given that they only recently learned about the extra class. It makes no difference, extra or not. My berserker is unbeatable. Nobody can compete with him. Ilya was overjoyed. Manaka only smiles at Ilya, unfazed by her boast. I wouldn't be sure if I were you. With a smile on her face, she stated. Oh, really? Ilya responded by challenging, Heracles as my servant. The best Greek warrior. Shuru and Rin gasped in surprise as she declared, surely a nameless hero like yours won't be able to beat him. Instead of panicking, Manaka narrowed her eyes slightly and gave Ilya an amused look. My emperor is the one who combines all of the best warriors from his era. There were many heroes like Heracles in his time, and he was one of their leaders. That, I believe, demonstrates the stark contrast between my emperor and your Heracles. She replied calmly. Ilya, upon hearing this, only looks at Manaka. She yelled at the battlefield, Berserker. Destroy that servant. She turns to face Manaka, who only smiles at her like an angel. Shuru and Rin swear they saw a spark between their eyes for a split second. Rather than a fight to the death, it's more like 2 children teasing each other, and they can't help but sweat at the thought. On the battlefield. Naruto landed between Saber and Berserker, a grin on his face as if they were playing rather than fighting to the death. What is your name? Saber demanded as she braced herself to strike Naruto. Naruto only remained silent for a brief moment. He then hears Manaka reveal his Saviour status, so he might as well tell the truth, I'm Saviour. Naruto responded. Saviour? What about the extra class? Saber expressed surprise. For a brief moment, she looked up and down at Naruto. She caught the Emperor's kanji on his head and back, and thanks to Grail, she knows what it means. Is he an emperor? He's not a king, so he's from the east. What kind of individual is he? But that tittle can only be bluff. Saber thought, his eyes narrowed. And you have to be Saber. It's surprising to see a woman in Saber class. Do you fancy yourself as Joan of Arc? Naruto inquired politely. I'm not the Maid of Orleans. She exclaims. Saber snapped, causing Naruto to blink at her sudden outburst. Saber flushed, obviously embarrassed by her outburst, and Naruto can't help but admire her. Saber pauses for a moment to collect herself before speaking again. Please accept my apologies, but I have had a bad experience with that name. Someone mistook me for her, which was not a pleasant experience. Saber shuddered as she remembered Castor staring at her like. She was terrified when she remembered that. I accept your apology. Naruto stated. He had no idea what her problem was, but she clearly had a bad experience, and judging by her response, it appears quite traumatizing. 1. 2. Dash. Saber blinked twice before raising her sword and pointing it at Naruto. Wait a second. You're an adversary who disrupts my fight. Why am I the one who has to apologize to you? She sputtered as she looked at Naruto, who laughed at her response. Saber-chan, don't be like that, Ma. Ma. Is Berserker-kun alright with that? Naruto inquired as he turned to face Berserker, who was staring at him and Saber. Berserker. Destroy that servant. Naruto's expression became dull when he heard, "Well, shit," he stated flatly. Before charging at Naruto, Berserker let out a furious roar. He raises his axe sword and delivers a powerful strike to him. Naruto, seeing this, immediately bends his body and dodges the giant's strike. He moves his leg to avoid another swipe, then latches his leg with chakra to the weapon horizontally before kicking off the weapon and punching Berserker in the face. To everyone's surprise, the punch did injure Berserker, as evidenced by his twisted face and a slight crack sound. However, Berserker is unconcerned about minor injuries. The Servant of Madness sweeps Naruto away like an insect with his other hand. When punching Berserker's skin, Naruto flipped in the air before landing on the ground, before enchanting chakra to his fist and delivering the strongest punch he has. He can feel not only Berserker's jaw but also his fist cracking. His hit before was clearly going to break a normal servant bone, because he punches with all his might in his normal state. No. That hit should be at least a B+ with my enchant chakra. But the damage was only about twice as strong as a normal punch to him. That means his skin is at least B-level tough. In line with my current situation. He's as powerful as Tsunade Bachin. Naruto thought as he flipped back his hat to reveal his blonde spiky hair and full face. He braces himself as berserkers charge at him with surprising speed for their size and appear in front of him. Claang. However, Saber appears in front of Saviour and protects him from Berserker's attack. With a roar, Saber pushes the Berserker away before channeling prana to her sword and swinging it, blowing the Berserker away. Berserker flipped in the air, unconcerned by the attack, before landing again on the ground and glaring at Saber and Saviour. "Thank you, Saber-chan, era," Naruto said with a smile. Saber gives him a glare. Saviour should not be misunderstood. "I'm fighting Berserker, which is why I'm helping you. Otherwise, I'll attack you with Berserker." Saber gave a cold response. Naruto, upon hearing this, only waved his hand dismissively. Ma. "Saber-chan, you're so cold. Anyway, as much as I appreciate your assistance, I'm afraid I'll have to decline it," he stated. "Do you intend to take Berserker by himself?" Saber inquired, his eyes narrowed. "So why not? Saber-chan, my summoner wants to see me fight. If you don't like it, consider the advantage you gain. If I'm killed by a Berserker, isn't that one less servant?" Naruto replied with a smile. Saber locked his gaze on Naruto for a brief moment. She appears to want to say something but is cut off by the ferocious roar of Berserker, who launches himself at them and appears behind Saber. Saber spun quickly, but she knew she wouldn't make it. She closes her eyes and prepares herself for the blow. Swoosh. But it never arrived. Saber blinked when she felt herself floating, but she didn't feel any damage. She turned to see herself in the air, being carried in bridal style by Naruto. Naruto landed on the ground before Saber, who was still stunned. "It means we even now." He winked, flashing her a grin. He stated. Before Saber could respond, Naruto dashed to Berserker with 3 shuriken in each of his hands. He enchants wind chakra for them before throwing it at Berserker with the speed of bullets. Berserker roared and swung his axe sword down, the wave of the attack deflecting all the shuriken, but some managed to pierce through and strike his skin. Only to be bounced around like a rubber ball against a brick wall. Naruto's eyes narrowed as he saw this. That was at least a C-level attack, but it didn't even pierce his skin. It means Berserker has some armor in his body and, contrary to popular belief, only B-level attacks will harm him. Berserker dashed up to Naruto and swung his weapon at him. Naruto ducked before kicking the ground and jumping to avoid another swing, then planted his feet on the ground before sidestepping and avoiding another attack. He cocked his arm back, causing blue energy to spiral around it before thrusting it at Berserker. Rasengan. Fist spinning. Naruto murmured as he pressed his fist against Berserker's stomach. Berserker tries to defend himself, but the attack manages to push him a few feet away and clearly damage his body as blood dripped from his gritted teeth and his eyes glowing more dangerously. The mad giant can tell Naruto is a threat even in his insane state. Berserker let out another roar before charging back at Naruto, appearing in front of him in an instant. Naruto clicked his tongue, Berserker surprisingly quick for his size. He barely avoided the attack as he drew back his body and delivered a kick to the Berserker weapon, burying it in the ground. Naruto placed his foot on the weapon before sprinting to the giant. Berserker immediately releases his grip on his weapon and delivers a thrust punch to Naruto, much to the surprise of the blonde. Naruto tilts his head, barely avoiding the punch as it brushes against his skin and grazes his cheek, drawing blood. He delivers a heel kick to Berserker, but the giant dodges it before returning the kick attack to Naruto. It hit Naruto in the stomach as he flew through the air as a result of the attack. Before flipping in the air to balance himself, blood dripped from his mouth. Wow, he nearly broke my ribs. It would have broken if I hadn't enchanted it with chakra. Damn, that hurt. I guess I'll need a monster weapon to fight against one. Naruto smirked and wiped the blood from his mouth with his thumb while performing hand seals. Kuchios no Jutsu. Invocation technique. With a puff of smoke, a massive broadsword-like butcher knife appears on Naruto's hand, larger than Naruto and nearly as large as Berserker's own weapon. He landed on the ground with both feet, causing the ground to crack and Berserker to grin. Servant of Madness, come. Naruto made a few swings with his weapon to challenge Berserker. Berserker roared in response before dashed to Naruto at breakneck speed. His red eye blazes ferociously, and he appears in front of Naruto, swinging down his weapon. Naruto bends his body, enchanting Kubikurabic with Earth Nature Chakra to strengthen it before swinging the sword. Boom. The collision of both weapons produced a large shockwave. Naruto grinned as he locked with Berserker in a deadlock that surprised everyone in the room. He roared, pushed Berserker away, and then delivered a powerful swing. Berserker roared and swung his powerful weapon, parrying the attack before resuming his attack and swinging his axe down again, but Naruto blocked it with his sword. Clang, clang, clang. Clang. Boom. Bang. As Naruto and Berserker dance in a deadly weapon clash, an impact and destruction appear. Berserker's face is pure anger and rage, whereas Naruto's face is a grin with excitement in his eyes. The spectators, including Saber, are clearly surprised to see this. This man can not only match Berserker's strength but also compete with him. See? I told you my emperor was powerful. Minaka stated as she gazed in awe at Naruto. Do not have faith first. Berserker is still a joke. Ilya responded to Minaka's remark with a defiant glare. She turned to face Berserker, who was fighting Naruto. Berserker. Take it seriously. She screamed. Berserker, in response, let out a lion-like howl before launching a more furious and powerful attack. He swung his weapon down on Naruto harder, and the blonde blocked again, but this time Naruto was successful. Naruto winced as he sensed his power increasing. Now that he is clearly outmatched, it appears that fighting Berserker in raw power will be ineffective. Berserker swung his weapon down, and Naruto sidestepped, not even flinching from the wind created by Berserker's weapon. He swings Kubikurabic at Berserker's head, but the giant pulls his head back and avoids the attack. He steps forward and swings his axe at Naruto, but the blonde emperor jumps and avoids the attack as well. Naruto landed but had to raise Kubikurabic to block the Berserker attack, which pushed Naruto back. Seeing this, the Berserker roared even louder before increasing his power and swinging Naruto away. Goo! Naruto was immediately blown away by Berserker's massive strength. He bounced a few times before regaining his balance. But he must prepare himself immediately because Berserker appears in front of him and bellows before striking again, this time with 2 hands. Gaakin. Crack. Naruto's eyes widened when he saw the crack on Kubikarabic. He had just slipped a little to not enchant chakra and his weapon had cracked as a result. This is extremely dangerous. And Tsunade's berserker power is combined. Naruto uses Kubikarabic to block all berserker attacks, but he clearly struggles and is only barely able to do so. Berserker had clearly overpowered him now. He clicked his tongue as he parried a berserker attack, and a crack appeared in Kubikarabic, making it easier to destroy. The spectator who sees the table that has been turned back can only be shocked. Berserker power and speed increased even more, and it was clear that Naruto was the one who was pushed back and would soon lose. Berserker yelled as he delivered a powerful double axe slash to Naruto, which was blocked yet again by Naruto. However, it was more powerful than before, and he was blown away. Boom. Naruto crashing to the ground caused an explosion, but Naruto quickly jumped from the smoke and landed on the ground. Kubikarabic annihilated and panted slightly. See. My berserker is unrivaled. And now your servant is no longer alive. Ilya smugly boasted to Manaka. Manaka spares a glance to Ilya for a moment before a sly grin appears on her face. I won't be Suyure. She said it in a sing-song tone. Ilya simply grunted when he heard this, HMPH. It makes no difference. You've already been defeated. Your servant has dropped his weapon. Finish this, Berserker. She gave the order. Berserker roared as he dashed to Naruto and swung his massive weapon in response to his master's command. Boom. As a result of the blow, more smoke appears. Ilya grinned as she saw this, knowing that Saviour was no doubt dead, as did everyone else in the room except Manaka. To their surprise, when the smoke cleared, Naruto continued his berserker attack with the broken Kubikarabic. His leg did not even twitch as he stood firm against Berserker. Impossible. He has full power berserker attack. Ilya muttered in disbelief, her eyes wide with surprise. I told you I wouldn't be certain if I were you. Manaka said with a smile as she looked at her emperor. While she appears calm on the outside, she squeals on the inside. Her emperor is very cool. Oh, he's not only a handsome, cute, kind, and strong leader. He was able to compete with the Heracles who had been empowered by mad enhancement. He is flawless. Ideal for someone like her. You are mine, my emperor, and I am yours. If there is anything I want more than seeing Root, it is to keep you with me forever. Oh, now I have to decide whether I want to see Root or be with you forever. Oh, so perplexing. For the last part, she thought seductively and confusedly. Naruto's eyes are obscured by his hair as he blocks Hercules' attack. When he raises his head to meet Berserker's gaze, his eyes turn toad-like, and an orange mark appears above his eyelid. Blood dripped from his brow and mouth, but it made him look more frightening than funny. You're tough. I admit it, but without technique, you're just a muscle. Now it is up to you to defend. Naruto smiled before pushing the berserker sword away and quickly raising the broken Kubikarabic, wind swirling around it as he swung down to the giant. Slaash. To everyone's surprise, blood spurted from Berserker's slashed chest by Naruto's broken sword. Then, all blood moved and swirled to Naruto's sword, repairing it. What the hell happened? Rin gasped in surprise. Everyone here was astounded to see a sword drink blood like that and then repair itself. Forget about Berserker. Maybe Saviour is a bigger threat than the giant. He can swing weapons larger than himself while fighting enemies like Berserker, proving he is not only skilled but also strong. That sword thirsts for blood. Shuru stammered, his eyes wide with disbelief. I've never seen or heard of such a sword. Saber, too, is taken aback. She knows a lot about swords, but she's never seen anything like this. Is that a noble phantasm sword that eats blood like that? Naruto grinned as he saw Kubikurabik was repaired, not completely, but enough to cut again. Meanwhile, unaffected by his wound, Berserker swings his axe blade at Naruto with full force, but Naruto is able to block it with his own strength. Clang, clang, clang. Gaakin. Berserker delivers a barrage of axe swings, and Naruto raises Kubikurabik to deflect the attack. They engaged in melee combat, and their position has now returned to stalemate. However, it was clear that Naruto was the one who managed to push Berserker this time, as a number of cuts and wounds appeared on Berserker's body as Naruto managed to land a hit on him. In Sage mode, Naruto's power is comparable to that of a Berserker, but his defense and agility outperform him. And adding Chakra Burst to his speed only adds to his danger. While Berserker should be able to outperform Naruto in Sage mode, he can't if he's insane. He can't think and can only move by instinct and skill. It may work against someone with lower stats than him, but it will not work against someone with the same status as him. Naruto has also been trained to dodge numerous deadly attacks, such as when he faces Kagaya. When confronted by the lethal goddess, one attack will kill him. So it was clear that Naruto was now the one who was defeating Berserker. Kubikurabik slowly reformed after slicing Berserker flesh and eating his blood. Jump, duck, slash, right, block, left, slash, duck once more, jump once more, block once more, slash once more. Blood and numerous cut wounds filled Berserker's body as Naruto continued to dance while delivering numerous attacks to Berserker. It was clear to the spectators that the fight had now become one-sided, with Naruto triumphant over the giant. But the giant refused to give up. He can't even feel the pain, let alone think about it. He only roared louder in annoyance and swung his weapon to swat Naruto away like an insect, but Naruto dodged the attack and countered him. Berserker lowers his axe sword, and Naruto, instead of matching the Servant of Madness in power, focuses his gaze, and when the weapon falls, he swings Kubikurabik to the flat side of the axe blade. Clang. The powerful blow caused Berserker to stumble for a moment, which was all Naruto needed. On his other hand, a swirling blue sphere appears, initially baseball size before growing to basketball size. Senpi. Dama Rasengan. As he thrust the orb into Berserker's middle chest, Naruto roared. Squeelch. Dune. As if a bomb had been mixed with a drill. The destruction sphere drills into Berserker's skin, creating a perfect hole and blowing away the giant head and hands that were attached to his body. Kubikurabik ate the splattered blood, and the ground was destroyed as a result of the orb damage. A bright blue sphere engulfed the Berserker giant's body before Naruto gave a single thrust, and the giant was blown away while covered in blue sphere, as if a potato had been thrown. Boom. Naruto smiled as he saw Berserker being pushed away. That attack no doubt killed him, with this one servant already down, and Kubikurabik was also repaired thanks to the blood. He can hear Berserker Master yell the name of the Servant of Madness. Berserker is a formidable opponent, but his technique is lacking. If he can regain his sanity, Naruto doubts the last attack will work, and he may face more difficult battles. He dispatched Berserker. Rin mumbled, surprised. She can feel the intense amount of mana that focused on the last attack, which was clearly dangerous. It's as if a massive hurricane of mana was compressed into a mini-orb. Everyone who witnessed the outcome was clearly stunned. One moment, Berserker gained an advantage, but the table quickly turned, and the giant now loses. If the Berserker is defeated, then this man becomes the most dangerous. He even manages to murder him. He has Berserker strength in Mad Enhancement, but he is sane. And very skilled. I don't think I can beat him. It's almost like facing Archer in the previous war. I don't think I have a chance against him. It's as if my chances of winning are so slim that the best I can do is tie with him and both of us die. Saber thought grimly as she watched Naruto put his hat back on. This man is not only strong, but she senses he has a regal aura. The aura that says he is king, just like her, rider, and archer in the previous war. The title Emperor was no accident for him. This man is powerful. Very powerful. She had to be serious from the start in order to beat him because he isn't like a berserker who can't think, which makes him more dangerous. She tensed when Naruto approached her, but she relaxed slightly when he smiled and waved his hand to her. It appears that your servant has done Ilyasville, Manaka said with a sly smile. Mine has proven to be superior. She said this while staring at Naruto with a dreamy expression. Hearing this, Ilya clenched her teeth. She looks at Manaka and points a childish finger at her, saying, "Don't you think you're going to win?" She stated, "You just took Berserker's 2 lives. He still has 10 left." To everyone's surprise, she said it smugly. "Do you mean we have to kill it 12 times? Rin made a squeak. Killing him once is difficult enough. Killing him 12 times must be a nightmare. For the first time since Manaka's appearance, Ilya notices Rin and Oni-chan are still present. She flushed as she realized she had forgotten her original purpose. Damn. Saber should be pummeled by her. Not you, Saviour. Arg. Now her plans are all messed up. When Naruto got close to Saber, he blinked because he sensed the berserker aura was still present, indicating that he was still alive. He takes a different stance just in case and stares at the smoke created by his attack. I'm pretty sure I tore his head and hands away from his body. No one can take a fully empowered Senjutsudama Rasengan to their middle chest while still alive. Except for Kurama and Biju, of course, but human is a different story. How is he still alive? Naruto was perplexed and wary. As if his master knew what Naruto was thinking, he hears Manaka say in his head, "Naruto, you must kill that man 10 times more. He appears to have 12 lives, and your last attack took 2 of them." Manaka informed him. Naruto, upon hearing this, blinked before grumbling. Yet another immortal? Oh my goodness. He's had enough of Orochimaru, Hidan, and Madara. Not to mention the fact that he fought numerous immortal shinobi during the 4th Shinobi War. Why on earth does his adversary have to be immortal? Isn't this normal? Oh well, 12 times killing him. If Dama Rasengan takes 2, I will destroy 8 in a single attack. Naruto reflected as he prepared to use Rasen Shuriken. The million microscopic blades will undoubtedly completely destroy Berserker, taking more than 8 lives or more. That leaves him with 3 lives, and Naruto can easily kill him 3 more times. Berserker then appears through the smoke. His wounds have healed completely, and he is as good as new. However, before they can fight again, they are interrupted by a voice. That's all, Berserker. We're heading home. Everyone turned to look at Ilya when she called. Meanwhile, Ilya realizes her situation isn't looking good. She realizes Saviour is the biggest threat now, having taken Berserker's 2 lives and not showing any signs of fatigue. Yes, she believes Berserker can win, but she also believes Berserker cannot stand up to Saber and Archer. Retreat is the best option right now, and as much as she dislikes it, she needs to change her plans because the extra-class servant proved to be more dangerous than she anticipated. Ilya casts a glare at Manaka, who smiles back, but there's a hint of smugness in that smile. Are you collaborating with Oni-chan? Ilya inquired. Me? No way, I'm not. I'm going to have my emperor attack Saber and Emiya-san after they've gone home. Saber and Shuru became tense as she responded. But then you come and attack them before we do. She elaborated. Ilya gave Manaka a stern look before huffing and turning away. Berserker appears in front of her, carrying her on his shoulder. My Berserker will triumph next time. We will complete it in the next battle. She stated, glaring at Manaka. I'm looking forward to the next one, Ilyasville. Manaka responded in a kind and innocent tone, complete with a smile, as if Ilya's declaration was like a child boasting about their nonsense. Ilya has decided that he despises this girl. HMPH. Oni-chan, you got lucky this time, but next time you won't. Before turning around with Berserker, Ilya stated. However, she gives Rin one last look and says, "And Rin, the next time we meet, I'll kill you." She added, almost as an afterthought, and then she was gone. Monaka could only laugh as Ilya walked away. She appears to have just won, huh? She doesn't expect anything less from her emperor. Suddenly, a swirl of wind appears beside her, and Naruto, who has deactivated his Sage mode, emerges from it, making Rin and Shuru tense as Saber appears on their side to protect them. Saviour. Monaka dialed a dreamy tone. "Hello, Monaka-chan. Do you like the show?" Naruto inquired. "That was fantastic. I know you're tough, but that before is insane." She squealed with delight as she fawned over him. When he sees Monaka's antics, Naruto's face becomes quite troubled. It reminds him of his fangirl, though his master already acts like one. Ma. Okay, let's talk about it later. Now what should we do to them? He said before looking at Shuru, Rin, and Saber, who were all tense. Saber immediately gripped her sword tightly and took a step forward, warning, "Stand back, Shuru." She is unsure about the situation. Even if she has enough prana, she doubts she can win. This man reminds her of Archer, but his personality is different. Monaka shifts her gaze from Naruto to the rest of the group. She still smiled innocently and hummed, "Can you beat them?" "I can," Naruto stated matter-of-factly. "Berserker is my only threat in close combat. I can take on Saber-chan if I want, but her noble phantasm is something else entirely, though I doubt she can completely kill me if I unleash my main noble phantasm." Naruto's voice is devoid of arrogance. It's more like stating the obvious, as if 1 + 1 = 2. "Don't be arrogant, Saviour." Saber grumbled, "I don't mind if you fight right now." She scowled. Naruto locked his gaze on Saber for a brief moment before crossing his arms. "Saber, don't deny it. I know you knew you couldn't beat me deep down. The only thing you believe is that you can defeat me if you also sacrifice your life. I can see it in your eyes, and as a fellow king, I'm sure you're aware of this." Naruto stated sternly, much to everyone's surprise when they heard the declaration. Not only does he dismiss the suffix chan on Saber's name, but his always playful and cheery voice becomes solemn, as if he were a leader or parent. How? Saber stammered in surprise, seeing someone so quickly identify her. Surprise? Don't be like Saber. Because I am emperor, I can recognize a king when I see one. Naruto explained calmly. Though I must say I'm surprised to find a king in a woman's body. Your era must have been quite difficult for you to have pretended to be male. With a chuckle, he said. Saber tightens her grip on her sword. This guy. He was clearly more than she imagined. He is not only strong and skilled, but he also has his own charisma. The more she discovers about him, the more she realizes how dangerous he is. So, Monaka-chan, what do you want me to do with them? Naruto inquired of his master. Monaka paused for a moment with a thoughtful expression before smiling. I'm going to let them go now. Tonight, I was already satisfied with one battle. She said a lot to Rin, and everyone was surprised. Are you really going to leave like that? Rin inquired. If you want to fight, I will provide you with one Tasaka-san. Rin was silenced when Monaka responded. She turned around to see Naruto, who said, Let's go, my emperor. Naruto nodded before grabbing her shoulder, as she said in a dreamy tone. You're missing Prana Saber. I recommend that you replenish your power before fighting me or Berserker. Trust me, you'll need it. Not to mention Lancer is still holding back a lot when he attacks you, and your next battle with him will not end the same way. Naruto warned with a steely expression. What? Wait. Do you see how we're fighting? Saviour inquired, but Naruto's response was lost in a whirlwind of leaves.
Shuru, Rin, and Saviour were left alone after Naruto and Monaka died.
Shuru was eventually able to break it. Are you all right? Shuru inquired as he approached her. Shuru, I'm fine. I didn't have much of a fight. I'm only watching the fight between Saviour and Berserker. Saviour responded calmly. Thank you, God. Shuru sighed in relief. Emiya-kun, I think we should talk to your house now. Rin abruptly proposed. Eh? Why was Tasaka chosen? It's already past midnight. Shuru responded with a perplexed tone. I agree, but we need to discuss Berserker and Saviour. Don't you see their strength and power in battle? Rin asked bluntly. Shuru's face flushed. He won't admit it, but that battle was the most amazing and dangerous he'd ever seen. He never imagined such a powerful existence existed. Why yeah. Shuru responded hesitantly. I propose a collaboration. Shuru and Saviour were taken aback when Rin said this alliance will also be beneficial. True to what Saviour said, Saviour here can't use her full power, and in her current condition, I doubt she can beat Saviour or Berserker. In the meantime, my archer is still recovering from Saviour's wounds. We can't beat Saviour or Berserker on our own, so until Saviour and Berserker, or at least one of them, are gone. Rin does not like the situation at all. But, with Archer injured and all servants already summoned, she is the most vulnerable person right now. Not to mention that there is someone who has assigned boundary field to the academy. This will not be good. Shuru, upon hearing this, put on a thoughtful expression. He's also doubtful that Saviour can defeat Berserker or Saviour after seeing that. Not to mention that he didn't want to fight Rin because she is kind and helpful to him. Are you certain, Tasaka? Shuru's question came after a brief moment of thought, causing Rin to blink in surprise. However, Shuru continues before she can respond, I mean, I'm not as knowledgeable as Magus. I only know reinforcement and projection. Isn't it better if you collaborate with someone else? Rin can't help but stare at Shuru's reaction. Surely he didn't say what she was thinking, didn't he? Isn't this man aware of his condition? He is the one who has the key to this place. He can actually threaten her now. You. Rin stammered and put her hand to her face. She is at a loss for words to describe her current situation. This man is far too generous for his own good. She sighed after a brief moment of calm. Emiya-kun, take a look here. You. She sighed once more, unable to relax completely. Even if you fail as a Magus, Emiya-kun, that doesn't mean you can't help me. Don't worry, you'll be fine with Saviour by your side. She reassured him. Shuru paused for a moment after hearing that before nodding and smiling warmly at Rin, so long as you say so. So, I'd like to form an alliance with you. With a nod, he stated. Rin is pleased to see this smile return. Shuru then turned to face Saviour. Saviour, how about you? What are your thoughts? He inquired. Saviour locked his gaze on Rin for a brief moment. She remembers what Saviour said about her condition, and if it's true, Lancer is still holding back when he fights her. Then there's the clearly dangerous foe. She is aware that Rin uses her master as a shield, but it is also in their best interests. Shuru, if you say so, I agree. However, Tasaka, once the alliance is cancelled, we will be enemies. And if you dare to move behind me, I assure you that you will not win this war even if Shuru is eliminated. Saviour said to Rin with a stern expression in a steely tone. Rin simply brushed aside the threat and nodded calmly, don't worry, I have my pride after all. Rin stated emphatically. She is the heiress of Tasaka, and if she gives her word, she will not back down easily. Saviour nodded in approval when he heard that. She looked at Shuru. Let's go home, Shuru. We'll need to rest. She informed him. That's right. However, first, Shuru asked Rin, "Are you coming with us?" "No, I've already said everything I wanted to say. I'm going home now." Rin responded. "I see. Would you like me to drive you home?" Shuru genuinely offered. "Don't worry, Emiya-kun. I can look after myself." Rin politely declined. "But what if you were attacked on your way? What makes you think it won't happen to you if Saviour and his master plan to attack me when I go home alone? I'm afraid I won't be able to protect you." Shuru objected. Rin opened her mouth to respond, but after thinking about what Shuru said, she couldn't. She is currently the most vulnerable, and if the other guys are aware that they are attempting to exploit her condition, Shuru will not. Shuru is as dense as rock and also far too kind, she knew. And the last thing he said was also not helpful. Why does he have to say it that way? Shuru, you're a jerk. Rejecting his offer now will make her appear a jerk. So, with a flushed face, she turns away from Shuru. Fine. Then I'll relocate to your home. Eh? Shuru, like Saber, blinked. Shuru's innocent look made Rin blush even more. Damn that man. She crossed her arms and exclaimed, "Humph. You said you wanted to protect me, didn't you? Then staying with you will be preferable." What? But you can't do it. Girl and boy cannot coexist under the same roof. It's not right. Shuru mumbled. But haven't you stated that you want to protect me? Don't tell me you lie, Rin exclaimed, surprised. She said it in a hurtful tone. Shuru, seeing Rin's expression, opens his mouth but closes it again, a troubled expression on his face. He groaned and turned away from her, saying, Fine. If you say so. He muttered something. Success. Rin smiled inwardly as she thought. Saber, who is watching the scene, can only shake her head. Her master is very strange. And to think he knew Kuritsugu. She can't believe an innocent man like Shuru, who can't even hurt a fly, is the son of a cold Magus killer who will take any path to achieve his goal. Does this mean Kuritsugu liked him when he was younger? She pondered. She recalls her argument with the Magus killer, and she came to the conclusion that Kuritsugu wanted to be a hero as a child, but something happened to him that caused him to change. The Magus killer did not deny it when she told him and only stared at her, so there was no doubt it was true. She almost snorts in amusement when she imagines Kuritsugu as Shuru, but seeing Shuru like this and knowing how much he resembles him, she can't deny it. What happened to him to turn him into such a cold-blooded killer? Saber reflected solemnly as she remembered her previous master persona. After a brief moment of thought, she shrugged it off. That is already in the past, and it is pointless to think about it now. Instead, she should concentrate on the present. She must find a way to replenish her prana, as Saviour suggested, by interacting with monsters such as him and Berserker. This war will undoubtedly be more difficult than she anticipates. It may not be as bloody as her previous war, but the servant will undoubtedly be as difficult as in the previous one. Only Lancer, Berserker, Saviour, and Archer have she met. Among those four Saviours, the most dangerous is the most mysterious assassin, rider, and caster. In the meantime, at Ryudo Temple, Caster frowned, having just witnessed the battle between Saviour and Berserker. Berserker is actually Heracles, the famous Greek hero whose legend rivaled Zeus. She now doubts that even with Assassin on her side, she will be able to defeat the giant. Even with her reinforcement, Assassin will be unable to defeat the giant. Not only that, but the extra-class servant has proven to be more dangerous than him. She is aware of the extra class in this war, but she cannot find anything about him. She was worried about him at first because he was an unknown factor, but that changed when he visited the temple a few days ago and had a small fight with Assassin. The battle was actually not that big, and it ended in a stalemate, with Saviour pulling back and leaving afterwards. If Assassin can hold his ground, Saviour won't pose much of a threat. So imagine her surprise when she sees Saviour not only go toe-to-toe with Berserker, but also win. He and Berserker are a bad combination. Although Berserker is insane, he has 12 lives. And he has to be killed a total of 12 times. Meanwhile, Saviour is the sane version of Berserker. Not only that, but he's also very good at concealing his tracks. He must have trained as well as assassin. Plus, his most recent attack was clearly dangerous. It isn't magic, but it is prana and mana. A large number of them were compressed into a small orb and then launched. It's almost like Age of Gods magic. Clearly, whoever the Emperor is, he was a warrior from the same age as she. Emperor he is. That title is perfect for him. But who exactly is Saviour? Is he some kind of Eastern warrior? If this is true, it explains why she has never heard of him. This is not good. I need to revise my strategy. If Saviour decides to attack my base, he will undoubtedly win. After all, he's not a berserker. Castor worriedly murmured. Suddenly, she caught something in her crystal ball. She magnifies her crystal ball and... Wait a minute. Under her hood, she murmured with wide eyes. A painting and message written in orange paint in front of Ryudo Temple Street. Hello there, Castor-chan. Do you like the show Castor-chan? What are your thoughts on me? I'm fine, right? Nay, 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 nay? Not only that, but I'm damn attractive. Ha ha ha. I hope you enjoy the show I put together for you. Saviour, the most unpredictable servant and the greatest servant ever. On one side of the message, there is a drawing of Naruto wearing his emperor hat, which covers his eyes while grinning and making a V sign. Castor, who is reading the message, is surprised. He was aware. He knew she was watching him from the start. That's why he's so difficult to find. This man. He's irritating. Castor thought, her right eye twitching. While Saviour appears dangerous, he also appears immature and childish. Is he truly emperor? She is now unsure. She sighed and stood up. She needed to erase the paint that Saviour had drawn in front of her temple before anyone noticed. Damn that servant, if she gets her hands on him, she'll make him his personal butler. Meanwhile, Naruto and Monaka are somewhere in the Shinto district. How are things going, Monaka-chan? Naruto inquired. We discovered our blonde hero and his master in a typical Western-style two-story house. Naruto is similar to Gilgamesh. In his scroll, he has his own treasure and item. He not only has the entire Icha Icha Paradise collection, but he also has gold, food recipes, and of course, a sake. The best sake of his generation. He was able to buy a house for the war with his item. He has the option of purchasing a new mansion, but he chooses not to do so because it would attract too much attention. He is extremely wealthy as the emperor who rules over everything in his own world. In terms of finance, you could compare him to Gilgamesh. While he did not collect weapons, he did collect treasures such as rare jewelry and food and drink recipes. He gathered them because he did not require a weapon. His body and skill served as his weapon. Monaka, who is seated at the table, smiles brightly at Naruto. You are extremely powerful. You defeated Berserker without even breaking a sweat. And he is Hercules. The illustrious hero. One of the best heroes. In a dreamy tone, she exclaimed. Naruto could only laugh at her response. He knew Monaka would act like this, and while Berserker is a formidable foe, Naruto is up against a far more formidable foe. They may not have the tough skin or power of Berserker, but they are far more lethal. Naruto admits to not breaking a sweat in the face of Berserker. If he continues to face Berserker in his normal state, he will die, which is why he immediately switched to Sage mode. While Kyuubi mode is overkill, Sage mode is at least adequate. He can only stay in Sage mode for 60 minutes before having to recharge it for 15 minutes, which leaves him vulnerable. he can also only enter 3 times per day. Manaka-chan is a strong berserker, ma. He even forced me to enter Sage mode. That is one of my 2 aces in the hole, so forcing me to use it is something else. If Berserker is sane, the battle will undoubtedly be more difficult. Naruto responded to Manaka's compliment. But you're still capable of beating him, right? Manaka inquired matter-of-factly. Of course, you say. Naruto responded with a nod. I have stronger form, but I only use it as a last resort. Manaka blinked as Naruto responded. Why? Manaka-hime, please tell me. Will you use your most prized weapon as a common weapon? Naruto inquired, my ultimate form is extremely powerful. If I so desire, I can destroy the entire town in a single instant. I can also destroy an entire island. But, as Emperor, I will not use a nuclear bomb on an ant. Naruto remarked with a snort before his face became solemn. All heroic spirits grow stronger when they become servant, but what about me? I'm far stronger when I'm alive than when I'm a servant. Naruto told her firmly. And it is true that when Naruto is in Rakude mode, he can destroy numerous asteroids as if it were child's play. He is the most powerful being, only rivaled by Sasuke. Both of them have already surpassed Hagoromo in power and can destroy their entire planet if they so desire. Naruto has learned a lot about shinobi life during his reign as emperor. Like Hashirama, he understood the importance of pride and arrogance. He does not bow his head in front of 5 Kage because he is humble. But he bows to create peace for shinobi world. Hashirama will not bow to anyone easily. He bows for the sake of peace, not for the leaders of each village. Naruto enjoys it as well. He may be upbeat, playful, and childish, but he is the emperor. He is the first shinobi to unite all elemental nations, and he is the conqueror of his world. Hashirama may have formed the first alliance, but Naruto was the first to command the elemental nation's army. No one will respect or follow Naruto if he always acts cheerful and childish. He must also develop arrogance and pride. Manaka's expression of awe when hearing that. She knew Naruto was strong because of his status, but to hear that, if Naruto was a normal servant, she would scoff, but Naruto is something else. Naruto was telling the truth, and she was well aware of it. But someone with that much power should be remembered. But there is no record of anyone named Naruto Uzumaki. Even in the age of gods. Naruto should be famous for his incredible power. And who was that much stronger when he was still alive? When heroes become servants, their heroic spirits grow stronger. That was absolutely correct. Who exactly are you, Naruto? Manaka inquired with genuine curiosity in a whispered tone. Naruto, who only heard silence for a moment. He told Manaka this so she would know what kind of person Naruto is. He didn't say it to brag, but to make Manaka more certain and believe in him so he could properly guide her. A person like Manaka can easily deviate from her path if they see Angra Mainyu, no doubt about it. Naruto planted this suggestion in Manaka's mind, so Manaka will continue to look for Naruto until the war is over. And because of this, even if Naruto dies with Angra Mainyu, Manaka will not stray from her path and will continue to follow the path Naruto has shown her. My name is Servant Saviour, Manaka-hime. And I come to save you, Naruto said as he leaned forward to Manaka, their faces close together. He smiled and whispered to her in a warm tone. Manaka's face turned pink as she heard this and instinctively leaned back from Naruto. Oh God. She's so embarrassed. And what about instinct? She had never done anything like this before. What part of that instinct? And after a long time of feeling embarrassed, Naruto is able to reawaken the emotion in her mind. Is this what they call falling in love? Manaka reflected as she held her face with both hands in a shy manner, a blush on her face. You flushed, Manaka-chan. Are you all right? When Naruto saw her face, he asked with concern, "She must be thinking another strange thing, typical psycho." Naruto sighed quietly to himself. Poor Naruto, even though he appears to understand women more now, he can still be as dense as a rock at times. Monaka quickly regained her composure and smiled at him. "I'm all right. I'm just a little tired." "Eh? Maybe you should rest, it's been a long night," Naruto proposed. After all, he can't have his master ill during the war. Monaka stood up, and Naruto followed her to her room. She turned to face her when she was in front of the door and smiled again. "Naruto, good night." "Good night, Monaka-hime." Naruto replied with a smile, and Monaka nodded before entering her room. Naruto turned away from the door and yawned as well. While he does not require sleep, hey, he won't have it, he'll sleep, and that was a given. He never considers himself a tool, but rather a partner and living being in this place, so he will sleep as well. He summoned another clone to keep an eye on him while he slept, then went to his room and flashed his sleeping outfit. He was about to enter the door when the sound of the door opening echoed from the floor below. If there is no warning, it is his clone. Boss. Yes, it is his doppelganger. Naruto sighed as he descended the stairs. What's the big deal? Why can't the clone simply be expelled? What does it matter? Why don't you just... When Naruto saw his clone, he came to a halt and his eyes widened slightly. A young woman with short hair and a black business suit is holding his clone's hands. The woman is pale and has lost her left arm. Dirt and bruises cover her body. I found her in an abandoned cottage a few kilometers away from the church. Breathing but barely, said his clone. His clone clarified. Naruto fixed his gaze on the woman. She is extremely pale. Without a doubt, because of blood loss. Her left arm's blood has already stopped flowing. I had already given her emergency assistance. When I found her, she was paler and her breath was almost non-existent. The clone kept going. Naruto nodded. As emperor, he had already asked Sakura and Tsunade to teach him some medical ninjutsu so that he could treat himself in an emergency if there was poison in his food or something similar. It took him 5 years, with the help of Kage Bunshin, to be able to use proper medical ninjutsu, not at the Sakura and Tsunade levels, but at the Shizune level. Take her to the guessing room. Naruto informed his clone, I will personally treat her. Naruto sighed as the clone nodded and went to the guest room. So much for his sleeping time.
That's it for today. If you enjoyed this video, give it a big thumbs up and subscribe to my channel for more awesome stories like this. Thank you. See you all in my next video.